we have like the most special guest today, the one and only Ashlie Molstad. And when I want to introduce her with just kind of sharing you guys like what she accomplished last year. Like these numbers, I say these out loud and it's like, I'm joking, but I'm not. So Ashlie Molstad, 4-time elite coach, 2-time top 10 coach. Now she's obviously the top coach in the network. She just won Team Cup. She took it away from Canada, which was huge. Superstar Diamond, more than 59, probably 63 months consecutive with 53 months consecutive months in Success Club. Sorry. Last year, she personally sponsored 979 coaches, personally sponsored 31 lifetime diamonds and above, and rank advanced 23 diamonds just last year. So those numbers to me are just crazy. So Ashlie, to get started, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us your Beachbody journey, where you're at today, kind of give us the rundown.
Yeah. Okay. Hi guys. So it is kind of crazy that those are my numbers, because like we never forget who we were when we came into this business, right? Like we all know, and you guys are balling out right now. I mean, you're on this call. I don't remember what level this is, but it's multiple star diamond. I know Kate's on here. She's in top 10 right now. And no matter what your achievements are, you just kind of are like, what? My name goes with those? Like, because you remember who you were when you came into the business, right? So when I came into this business, it was in 2012. I was just wanting to get in shape for my wedding. And my sister-in-law had done an insanity challenge group, and she had amazing results. And in my family, we like to party, we like to drink, we like to have a good time. And so I asked, like, what did you change to get those results? Like, did you have to give up everything and like be super strict? And she replied and said, no, I did the workout every day. I drank Shakeology every day, and I swapped beer out for vodka water. And I was like, oh, okay. So I can do this then. Like I can, follow. So if she got these results by doing that, I can do this. So I joined her challenge group, and I felt a lot of pressure to like not mess up, because it was my sister-in-law and I wanted to make her proud, and she would know if I fell off, from everything. So I went all in with it, but I don't even remember really if I did the meal plan, but that's not really a thing I've ever done in my life, really, like followed our meal plans. But so I had really good results, but I think more than anything, I just fell in love with the system, the community, our products. And I remember when I first bought my challenge pack, it was $205 because that's what they cost at the time. And she was like, if you're going to buy that, you should sign up to be a coach. And I was like, no way ever will I ever do that. Because I just didn't want to get into the sales that, all the stuff that we tell ourselves and that people are telling us every day. But once I fell in love, like I got results, and I fell in love really with the community more than anything, because I'll get into this, but I also was struggling with depression. And so the community was so uplifting, and I was working at my dream job with a group of women who were really awful to me. And this community brought like women that were uplifting. So, and anyway, I ended up signing up for the discount because you had to buy one program at a time, and Asylum 1 was coming out and Asylum 2. And I knew I just wanted to save money. So then I did those, and I started like just wanting to talk about this all the time, but I didn't want to be annoying. Because truth be told, and I don't think I've ever said this, but like there was a guy that I was friends with who found Jesus, like that was all he wanted to talk about. And I'm not a Jesus person, super into the universe, super spiritual. And some of my best friends are. So if you are, I love it. But at the time when I was really broken and hurting, all I saw in my newsfeed was him posting about that. And I was like, well, I don't want to be white noise to the people that aren't interested in health and fitness. So that's why I started my separate page. And I started just posting on there like a blogger would. So on a consistent schedule, because I was really into blogs at the time, consistent schedule and whatever. And it was easier for me to share to strangers than to friends. So I started sharing. I started becoming like people asking me for help. So I started plugging them into the system without even really meaning to. And at the end, so in 2013 is when I started my page. And I had some decent success. I wasn't even really trying to do this, but I ended up hitting Success Club and stuff. But at the end of 2013 is when my depression was the worst. I was going through some medical issues and working with that group of women that were really mean, and I became suicidal. And I thought every single day about how I could kill myself and what that would mean, and that would end like the suffering, but it would also, the kind of depression I had was where I thought that not only, would I be better off, but like everyone would be. My best friend would be happier with a different best friend. John, my husband, would be, better off married to a different person. I just thought like the world, this planet, everything would be better without me. And the only person that I didn't think that about was my dad. I just didn't know if I could do that to him. So I didn't, thank God. But Beachbody was like the one light. It was like a small piece of light at that time, but it was the one light for me. And like I just would do my workouts, but and I would just like, then I'd be in my room like the rest of the day, just like in a dark room. And we lived in a basement apartment, so it didn't even had like a tiny window. And I would just like, and that of course isn't good for depression, but it was like my one light. So of course I had a job. I had to keep showing up for work, and I ended up getting a new job with a new group of people. I was in and out of doctor's offices and got my medical thing under control. And so I started getting in a better headspace. And at the beginning of January 2014 is when I started feeling better, like the fog began to lift. And I was like, if I love this thing that much, and I want to talk about it all the time to everybody, and I'm making some money just by not even really trying, what would happen if I decided to go all in with this? Because in January is when you see, the top 10 recognition. And I saw the Super Saturday stuff in the team page. And that's why I decided I'm just going to see what I can do. And I reached out to my upline's upline, Danielle Natoni, for a little mentorship and some help and guidance. And then I just started running, and I've been running ever since. And obviously now my life has totally changed. So Sydney was like, where are you now? Beachbody things aside that she said, my husband and I are both full-time Beachbody coaches. We were in Oregon, but we like split our time. So last year we moved at the end of 2017 from Oregon to Arizona. And last year we had 5 months in the summer in Oregon because we have the freedom to do so. And, I don't have depression anymore. I don't know if that's something that you ever like heal yourself permanently from. So that's why personal development, I'm so passionate about it. But my whole life is completely different, obviously financially, and my cup is full, and anyway, so.
So many chills. Thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable about your story and making it so relatable. So, okay, guys, I will let you guys go. What questions do you have?
I feel like these always start out slow.
I have a question for you. So obviously you're hitting crazy high success numbers, and I feel like maybe that hasn't always been the case. Like, I don't know, I think you're in like Success Club 300 or something now, which is crazy. But what would you say is like the shift now for you to be hitting that high of numbers?
So I really think, honestly, my activity level is the same. I mean, other than, I'm working more because I'm bringing more people on and stuff, but I'm not inviting more. I'm not running ads. I'm not doing any of those things. I think it always sounds so cheesy, but I honestly think the shift is in your mind. And I say that now, a lot of people want to like, and this pissed me off because Beachbody corporate, not Sydney ever, but Michael Neiman, Jeff Hill, Sandy Buadana, all of the people and even Doug Moss, and I've yelled at him about this, used to attribute my success to going viral. And it pissed me off to no end, because going viral does not make you a success. It makes a lot of eyes on that post. But if you don't continue to show up and serve your community, those eyes don't do shit. They don't convert into anything. It does not grow your business. So I think having more eyes on me helped. I was hitting, Success Club 20 or something like that. So I haven't been hitting like these high numbers. But when I think about it now, I mean, there's been a lot of growth for me. Like the person that I am today versus who I was even when I went viral, which is in 2016. I'm much more confident, and I think that exudes. But I also feel like I just lost my train of thought. What happened? What was the question? Why?
Just like what made you change to go from
mindset.
Yeah.
I really feel like I could have hit these numbers back then if I believed that, like at the beginning of every month, there's not a doubt in my mind, 250 points is my minimum. Like I don't stress about it. I don't think about it. And that 20 points and actually it wasn't even 20, like 10 points was my bare minimum before. So that's what I did. And then I would go, to maybe 20 or something. And some months, maybe I'd have like 40. But I really feel like it's a ceiling that we set for ourselves. And the reason that I think that is because it hasn't just happened with me. Emily Favre, last year, she's my PS coach, and she's ended number 3. But last year, in January, she asked me, like, what should my goal be? Because she was throwing up some big numbers towards the end of the year with her 80-day obsession transformation. And in December, she hit like 70 something, and she took basically the month off. And so then she asked, like, what should my goal be for January if I want to try to go for top 10? And I was like, 200. I think you should go for 200. And because she didn't have a team yet, so we had to really rely on retail sales. And she was like, my goal was 100. And I'm like, Emily, you basically hit 100 last month without even trying. Like, what kind of goal is 100? No, you're going to double it. And then she got 200 that month. She got 253. Like she was in the hundreds every single month last year. This year, I asked on my team cup, I sought out people that I saw potential in. And I was like, I want to see if we can take this. Like there is a possibility. And I think you could do huge things. Like, are you willing to like push as hard as you can? And you got to get 40 points. And every single one of them was terrified. 3 of them hit right around 40. 1 of them hit 160. And her, like that is like, she was hitting 10, 20 points. And so and like when she started getting them, she's like, now I just want to see what I can do. Right. So I really think like if you went into the month and you were like 250 is my minimum, you're not going to act like Success Club 10 is hard. You're not going to act like 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 is hard because your goal is 250. So I really feel like it's a mindset piece. I know that that's not a super sexy answer, but that's my secret.
Ash, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you sit down in the morning and you're like, all right, invite time, where do you go first? Do you go to people watching your stories? Do you go to people who liked your post 6 months ago? Do you go to like, what's your list that you kind of like to work from for shooting out some invites?
Yeah, the old invite question. I like asked Doug when I was at NLC, don't ask me this on stage because I don't invite. I don't invite in a way like where you're like, where do I go first? I just 100% attraction marketing. I actually just asked my husband to start responding to my Instagram DMs because I think that I'm actually, even with the numbers I'm hitting, I know I'm leaving people on the table. I know that there are people falling through the cracks because I just don't respond to my Instagram DMs, and Instagram's the jam, right? So I just don't invite. I've built up a system now where I think I give enough value on my social media that people want to join me to see what more they could be getting, right? Like, and Gary Vee always talks about this. He's like, I give so much value away for free that when I have a book, I don't feel bad about asking for them to buy my book. And I kind of feel like that's what I do. Like, I really try to give as much value as I can on social media and encourage and empower people all the time. And I talk about, body positivity and all this stuff that's about my brand. And then when I throw up an invite post, I ask them to apply. I have the Jot form thing, and I get 500 applications per invite post I put up. So I think the inviting for me is done every day in my social media, but I don't really do it in a one-on-one kind of capacity anymore.
So I love that. And I feel like I'm kind of similar in the aspect that I've never really been great at inviting. But I find that there's a little bit of a disconnect with when I'm trying to teach my new coaches what they should be doing because I've never been great at that. Mm-hmm. And they have to obviously put in the work in the beginning of their business to see success or to create that for themselves. So what do you do for your newer coaches since that's not something you really do?
Well, so I did use, I mean, you have to do the inviting system in the beginning. But I was never really that good at it either, Jade, because I remember listening to a call from Melanie Mitro, and she said she hated inviting and she wanted to work so hard so that she wouldn't have to, right? So that she could get to attraction marketing. And I was like, well, okay, then I can do that too. So I did do it in the beginning, and I had, all the scripts and everything. So for the new coaches, I show them where the scripts are, and then I point them, I say, here's your scripts. But as far as inviting and finding new people, I'm very honest and transparent with them. And I say, social, I don't do that anymore. I'm now basically attraction marketing, but I had to do it for the first 4 years in my business. And social media, I could tell you what I did back then for those first 4 years, but it was on Facebook, and times are changing. So I'm going to point you in the direction of people who are crushing the invite game today. And I've got a few people on my team. I've always pointed people to the Haley Christian Gangster App Connections video in the Beachbody Champions page. And I also had Haley on a call and, had the same thing. So I'll point them to either of those. But basically, I'm not afraid. I'm transparent at everything in my life. Like if you ever see me on social, like, that. But so I have to be the same with my coaches and let them know, like, I'm not doing that anymore. But I did to be able to grow, to make sure that they know that they have to do it. But also, I'm not afraid of having them use other resources and experts that are killing it. And we've also started featuring once a month, featuring, like the National Wake Up Call does, featuring new coach success stories kind of on our team call, so that they can talk through their invite process and how they're finding people and how people are finding them, and all their follow, like basically all of their systems, so that new coaches are hearing that frequently. Actually, I said we do team calls weekly. Yeah, so what I did this year to work smarter, not harder, was I reached out. We had 3 other elite coaches in the downline. So I had another one. I had Emily, and then another one, and then Emily had one. So there's 4 of us. And so I reached out and I said, would you guys want to team up and create, like, get rid of our own team pages, create one big team page, and then we still have our personally sponsored coach pages that we use. And we call that the Coach Family. And we each take a week of the month. So Emily's week 1, Autumn's week 2, Heather's week 3, on week 4. And on the months that there's 5, I think there's 5 months that are 5 Tuesdays this week. That's when we feature our new coach success story. So that's been really helpful, because then I only have to come up with content for one of the weeks, and it empowers the other leaders on the team.
So you said you and your husband are working full time. Do you also have like an assistant? And I'm specifically referring to like the number of people you bring on, because I mean, I don't even bring on that many. I bring on maybe 30 a month, and I just am like, how do I keep track of everybody? And so
I know.
Yeah.
It's intense. That's been like a big growing pain for me. Yeah, I have an assistant. So my husband used to do, so what happened was in 2017, November 2017 is when I went by, 2017 or 2016, sometime in November. I went viral, and my husband, 2016, my husband had come home. He was on contract work. And I always say I retired my husband, but his contract ended in September, and then I went viral in November, and then he's just been home helping me and doing messages ever since then. And so he didn't have to go back to work, but he was doing messages for about a year and a half. And then last year in 2018 in March, right after the Success Club trip, he was getting super stressed because, he's going home to like 1,000 unread emails and messages. And that's when we hired an assistant. So now we have an assistant that works 30 hours a week for us. She's super efficient. Like what she can do in 30 hours is way more than I could. Like she's doing what it was taking John like 80 hours to do, but that's because he was also doing the house and the kid and like cooking and cleaning and blah, 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 all the things. And same for me, right? Like when you multitask, you're not very efficient. So she does and I now have started saying this on my social media too. Like when you fill out the application, my assistant will get back to you. I take over once you join. Because I was having people saying like, oh, I felt like it was just like a bot that replied to me. And I'm like, well, it is kind of, they're my words. I gave her my scripts, but, and then she just flags messages if there's specific questions that she can't answer and I need to get back to. But yeah, she works 30 hours a week. She does that. She's scheduled all the messages, share cart, enrollment, everything. So I just have to post about it. Then she handles everything from the time that they reach out to me until sign up. And then she gets them plugged into the group, and then I take over once they're in the groups. I have some ebook things that I send them, whether they're a coach or a customer. So they have steps to get started, and they get my phone number if they enroll as a coach. So then they text me, and then, you know, that's when we do personalized. But I had to realize, like, she doesn't do it as well as I do. She doesn't do it as well as John does. But she keeps me sane. And if I lose people because she doesn't do it as well as I do, it's a risk that I have to take for balance in my life. And when we found things that we want to improve on, like one thing that she took a week off last year and we took over the messages, and John was like, she's not replying to these people like someone will write and be like, my dog died, blah, 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 all these, I'm going through a divorce, and she'll just write the script back. And John, we had to be like, okay, you have to give them just a little, you know, like a little bit of love, like ad lib some, and then go into the script. So we give her feedback and stuff like that. And so I know that I've lost people because of it, but that's a risk that I have to take. And that's also why I started talking about it on social, so that they don't feel like, oh, I'm just a number, I'm slighted or whatever, that they know that it's not me, and that they will get me. And I just try to share that way. But I heard in the I'm Here to Help group, I don't know if you were around for that, Carl did this group in 2017, I think. And in there, someone asked, like, how do you make sure that everybody is taken care of? And how do you make sure that no one falls through the crowd, blah, 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 whatever the question was, you know, basically what you're thinking right now is, I feel overwhelmed with 30 people. And his response was, it's not your job to handhold all of the people that you bring in. It's your job to implement a system that you know people can be successful in, that you can plug them into, and it's up to them whether they plug in or not, in fitness and in business. And that kind of gave me the permission to be like, because I felt like when I ended the year number 2 in 2017, I was alone. Like my team I was recruiting super high numbers, and I was having 8 to 12 people hit Success Club. I had 2 Diamonds Advanced that year, and one was my second business center. I had no Star Diamonds Advanced. Like I was alone, and it felt awful. And I think it was because I'd been telling myself, again, that mental ceiling, that I'm a shitty leader and I don't know how to lead and I can't help people duplicate and blah, blah, and that's the story that I was living in. And then I just had, when Emily started doing things last year, I had to kind of challenge that leadership story. And that permission from Carl was always in the back of my brain of like, you don't have to handhold everybody, and you shouldn't, you know? And so then I just got really focused on implementing systems that I could plug people into.
That's exactly what I needed to hear. So thank you.
Yes. I do not use any third party to grow my social.
Sorry, I keep talking. Can you talk a little bit about that system? Like once you get them enrolled, I also have an ebook for them on the customer side. Mm-hmm. To get them started. It gives them all the information. Are you sending like weekly emails to them? Are you checking in one-on-one at all? Or like what's your system once they're plugged in?
No, with coaches.
Both.
Okay, so customers, they get the ebook and it shows them, I don't know if I have it downloaded. I'm sure I do. I can share my screen and show you guys if I can find it. So they get the email, or in the like email back from my assistant that says, here's the groups that you need to join. It explains a little bit about how, like I have a video showing them how they can find their workouts, where they can find their meal plan. I have them follow the original 21-day fix, but then I try to get them off of that as soon as possible. That's just my brand thing. I feel like it's another diet. So I give them a nutrition guideline thing. I explain to them, all like kind of like the journal a little bit that it was in Transform 20 and in the portion fix, you know, like a more mindset stuff. I give them personal development recommendations and all kinds of things. I'm trying to see if I can find it. And then they just get plugged into the group. And then we tell them, like, make sure I have all the videos that I've done pinned as announcements in the group. So I say, make sure you watch those videos. And then I try to go live pretty frequently, 5 days a week in my group, to just connect with them so they see my face as a real human and not just, you know, the posts or whatever. And then we do weekly boot camp calls. So Wednesday morning, 10 a.m., I go in there and we do a Zoom chat and we just connect basically on whatever I see coming up that week, whatever issues I'm seeing people are having or, you know, questions they have, I talk about that. Or if I'm struggling, like this week, I've been struggling with just YOLOing my face off and feeling kind of puffy and gross. So that's what I will talk about this week, like when that happens to me, what I do about it. And again, transparency. Okay, here. I don't know if this is the most recent version, but I'll show you. This is my customer one. So a welcome note. This is a video they can click on where I show them how to get their, what's it called? What did I just say? Their workouts, their commitment contracts. I make a big deal. I don't care about their weight or their measurements. I don't understand why anybody cares about that shit, but that's me. Their mindset. So I really work on their mind a lot. So I have a whole page dedicated to self-love principles, what their goals are for whatever, all these things. I feel like a lot of it's fluff, but it feels like a nice big package for them, I guess. That's what she said. Non-scale victories, personal development, workout programs. Here's my meal plan. Principles. It's not a diet, it's a re-education. I do have them start here. And then I have a whole like deep dive video in my challenge group, their progress photos. Yeah. So that's the thing that I send my customers. To my coaches, oops. Let me see if I can find my coach thing. They get the same kind of system. They get immediately plugged into, obviously, the, I have to get rid of this box thing. They get immediately plugged into the boot camp, and then they got the links to all the team pages and everything. And then I ask them to send me a text when they get the email, so that I know, who's actually reading things. I think this might be the most updated one. So then this is what I send every coach. A welcome, a little bit about mindset, how they can access their workouts and their meal plan. First steps through the coaching journey, so their coming out post kind of thing. Trainings and happy hours, that's our team we call them happy hours. So trainings where they can access those things, the main pages that they need to join, and then check in with me with a text. And that's basically all that's all they get. And then in the welcome email, we also give them the link to the New Coach University. So when they text me and they're like, hey, got your email, looking through it, I write back and say, awesome, let me know what kind of coach you want to be based on that first video. So I have a video in the email that's like, discount hobby business builder. And then based on that, they'll write back, or a lot of people won't even respond to that. And then I'll go from there. So if it's discount coach, I say, awesome girl, you can just file that email away for if you ever want to work the business or learn how to get your shakes paid for in the future. Can't wait to get started. Excited to be on this journey with you. Something like that. And I send that. If they want to do hobby or business builder, then I plug them into the New Coach University. I say your first step is to, I'll just share my screen and do this. I shared this at leadership. So it's all quick text. So, right, here's my first video. Let me know once you watch that first video what kind of coach you want to be. I can guide you best. Here's what I send when they're a discount coach. If they want to be a hobby or business builder, I say this: take it one day at a time, go through the university. You can go through it as fast or as slow as you want. After you graduate, we'll set up a one-on-one. This is a big one. Your first goal as a new coach is to help 3 people and get them signed up like you have. A great place to start is with family and friends. What do you think? When they say, I'm in, really excited, I say, awesome. One good thing to do now is to screenshot my results or some other results, text them to your best friends or close family and be like, girl, I just signed up for this because look at these results. I'm super excited, but also kind of nervous. Would you want to do this with me and we can hold each other accountable? And then I make a video explaining that so that they can actually hear in my voice the way, like when you're excited about something. And I talk about like this Taylor Swift concert example where I texted my best friend, like super excited, we got to go. And that's how I want them to take on these invites, not selling. right? So then I have, if they say that they don't want to do a call, I send that. If they say they do, whatever. So I make them go through a few steps before they get on the phone with me. And because that way I can really focus the call based on them. So they have, the New Coach University is just a 14 module training about like first day is mindset. And then we go into like, I don't know, social media tips. I share my screen on one day showing them share a cart and then the enrollment and back office tour, all the standard stuff. But that way we can get kind of the base stuff out of the way. And then I can really focus with just them on their one-on-one calls. So I weed a lot of people because a lot of people won't do those steps. Those people I don't want to work with people that aren't even willing to, do a little bit. So, yeah. Like with the amount of people I recruit, I should be having I have a lot of diamonds advanced and I have a good SC base right now, but I should be having a shit ton more. I just don't have the bandwidth or capacity or desire to handhold all the people. There needs to be a little bit of go-getterness,
No, I love that. And because I have packets just like that and systems and everything. And then I always feel guilty when someone like falls off track if I'm not, or like, they're like, you didn't check in with me one-on-one. I'm like, you have everything in the group and the systems. And like, I'm here if you need anything at all, like email me. But
well, and then I also think it's important to set that expectation because I was getting that feedback too from people. So then I'm very clear now, especially in my boot camp, very clear. Like if you want time with me, you need to ask for time with me, but you need to prove that you need time with me. I'm like, I have 1,000 people in this group that I am trying to help. I cannot possibly reach out to all of you one-on-one. That's why I show up on these lives. I need you to be watching the lives. I need you to be tuning into the weekly boot camp calls. If you need me in addition to that, let me know. I'm not going to chase you down. So I think it's important that you set those expectations as well with your coaches and your customers to let them know that you're not going to be checking in with them one-on-one unless obviously if you do, oh, hey, Steph, I just saw you. If you do, then great. But I think whatever your expectations are, then you need to set them very clearly with them. And I still have people that are bummed, like don't like my boot camps. And I'm like, listen, transparency. I'm like, no hard feelings. I know these groups are huge. I know I'm not the coach for everybody. It's completely fine if you guys want a smaller group and you have a different coach, you can totally transfer. No, I will not have my feelings hurt. I know that the system isn't for everyone. Because it's not for everyone. But then I also follow it up with, but I also know I'm going to work, and I say this, and hopefully it doesn't offend anyone, but I'm like, I know that I am giving you something no other coach can. I know that I am giving you, like what you're getting in these bootcamp calls is so much work on your mindset, right? It's just selling myself. So my feelings are not hurt if I am not your coach, but let me tell you why I think I should be. And then leave it up to them. But I know people transfer and they get pissed all the time, and that's okay. Cause I also know my system works, and I tweak it when I need to. I feel like I sound super arrogant right now, but I tweak it when I need to, and I'm open to feedback, but I also just need to make sure I'm setting expectations.
Okay, Cassidy asked a question. What have you found that has helped build confidence in your new coaches?
I think what really helps them is having them hit Success Club and Emerald right away. So there's so much pushback on that for some reason. Like people act like Success Club is so hard and Emerald is so hard. And honestly, you're doing a disservice to your coaches if you're making it seem really difficult for them, or if you're acting like Emerald should take a month. Like I'm running a call tonight and it's called Emerald in 24 hours. And the goal is they get this on this call tonight, they sign 2 people, and wait on Thursday, they wake up as an Emerald. And because we have in my downline, like 25, 30 new Emeralds a week, people see it happening. And because we have hundreds of people in Success Club, and I have, 8 people brand new in their first month as a coach hitting Success Club, people see that it's possible. And that was another lesson that I had to learn recently though. Like last year was a really big year of growth in leadership role for me. But learning that like coaches know what we tell them. So if we act like Success Club is hard and hitting Emerald is hard, then that is what they believe, right? It's the same with us. Like when you guys probably think, oh my gosh, hitting 250 Success Club points, it's hard. It's like, no, it's not. For me, it's not. It's just like, it's because I believe that it isn't. I don't even believe hitting Success Club 500 is hard. I've only done that a couple times, but like, I really feel like anything is possible. It's how much work do you want to put in to make it possible, you know? And so I think we just have to be really clear with our coaches on this is what it takes. This is how many people you need to be connecting with. This is why, you know, why you need to be posting. Make sure you're using your Instagram stories. Here's some scripts to help you. Here's some training and social media stuff to do it. But like, you got to show up, you got to do the work, and you just got to help 3 people. And in the beginning, it's going to be your friends and family. It's going to be people that already know, love, and trust you. And we just set it like that. And then with the Emerald and 24-hour call, it's the same thing. So it's those early wins that build confidence in themselves. And I really think like that's how you start building confidence. And then, you know, making sure that you're empowering them and making sure that they're continuing to have good results and you're giving them a good experience in your team page and in your challenge group. But that's how we've been able to help people. And then there are some people that are just, they're a little slower and they need to take more time, and that's okay too. I mean, we love them where they're at, right? How many Emerald and 24-hour calls do I host in a month? I think we're just doing 1 right now. We go back and forth with 1 and 2. And tonight we're going to try something different where I'm just going to go live in the team page. Normally we do calls. I'm just going to go live in the team page and see how that works. If we get the same amount of emeralds, if there's good engagement, but I'm going to see if that works.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
With your girls who are hitting Emerald and Success Starter and stuff, do you do any sort of like fun prizes or anything beyond just like recognition shout outs for them or anything?
For Emerald, I don't anymore. We have a lot of emeralds, and I was just noticing like lots of people get to Emerald and then they lose it. You guys know. So I was spending all this money on stuff that they weren't even really using. So it was a personal development book I would send them. So I stopped doing that for Emerald. For Success Starters, what I've done this year, I like to incentivize what Beachbody incentivizes because then they're going to get double the recognition. So for Success Starters this year, I am giving them, basically I'm paying for their room for Summit. So I'm going to pair them up in groups of 4 and give them Thursday, Friday, Saturday night room at Summit. So if they earn their free ticket to Summit, then they get their hotel paid for. I haven't decided what I'm going to do the second half of the year because I don't know if that'll still be that good of an incentive if it's like not until a whole nother year from now, you know. I don't know if I'll keep doing that or I'm going to have a retreat. So maybe it's going to be a diamond retreat, but maybe I'll open it up where Success Starters get an invite to that diamond retreat as well for the second half of the year or something, you know. I haven't decided yet. I have a few months to figure it out. Okay, Whitney. Oh, Cassidy said, do you do new coach chat threads or do they get plugged into the team page? They get plugged into the team page, and then sometimes I don't do new coach chat threads, but sometimes when I see people rocking, if they're like newer, they're close to diamond, or usually that's the only time I've done it before, when they're like pushing to diamond, then I'll put them on a text strand in my phone. I find text is more powerful than Facebook Messenger. I know a lot of coaches don't want to give out their number. So I have a business number now, which is Google Voice. I learned about that from Ruth Schroner. So if you have a Google account like Gmail, I think you have to have that. You can get a phone number. And so it's an app on your phone. They can call through that. So it rings to your phone. You can also do it as a web page. So that's the number that I give out now. But my text strands, when I put them in a diamond thread, I only put people who have iPhones in there because I don't understand why people don't have iPhones, but I want to work on I want to do like the chat on my computer, you know, or I want to do voice memos, or I want to like a message. And honestly, I judge everyone on my team who doesn't have an iPhone. I'm like, okay, baby girl, let's upgrade, okay? But I just don't, I put only the people that's most, 80% of people have it. So I put them in and then they'll push each other. That's how we pushed to Superstar last year. And I've had 6 diamonds so far this year, and they're in that chat thread, like pushing each other. So that's the only time I really do chat threads. I do, what else was I going to say? Oh, at the end of every month, about the last 4 days of the month or something, I put people in threads, those people that have 4 points and those people that have 2 points. So I'll start new threads for that as well. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, congratulations. I was just checking and you guys have helped 2 people this month. That's amazing. You only have 1 more to help. And I can't wait to celebrate you. Like, how's it looking? What, whatever. How can I help? And I put that, and then the 4s are pushing each other. And I do the same thing for the 2 pointers pushing each other. So those are the only chat threads kind of things that I do. Whitney said, do you run push to diamond groups or Zoom masterminds? And then beyond diamond groups, once they hit diamond, do they go into a diamond and beyond push group or mastermind with you? Any particular topics in those groups to help them push to diamond and beyond? We run quarterly diamond push groups. It's been Emily and I, and then we team up with other top coaches. So we ran our first one like a year ago, I think, in maybe March. We ran 2 groups with the same set. And then at the end of the year, we worked with Mandy Kai and Angie Belmar, which I know, Jade, I think you guest spoke in that one. So we ran that one, and then this year we're just wrapping that one up. I'll run another one. So we do it every quarter, and I try to just get different coaches to do it with me because everyone has different perspectives and different value that they bring. And those have been really successful. And then as far as beyond diamond, so once they're diamond, then I add them into my diamond text thread, which they feel very special about, which is, you never know like what makes people feel special, right? But when I add people, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys, I feel like I'm starstruck around all of you or whatever. So they feel really special with that. And then we have, we have like weekly diamond calls, and I'm going to start, like my diamond retreat is going to be a star diamond retreat. I think it's going to be new diamonds or star diamonds. So they have to continue to advancing their business. So people can't like repeat retreats if they haven't moved their business forward. But I tried to do a star diamond training, and I just don't know what kind of training they need. So maybe that'll be something I learned this year, is how to really like nail in the star diamond training. I tried to run a star diamond training it was a stacked team. It was Lindsay Matway, Bonnie, Emily, and myself, and it was just kind of a flop. So I don't know. Maybe you guys could share your secrets. The diamond push groups are 6 weeks long usually, and we try to make them coincide with our quarterly bonuses. This one that we're going to start is going to be 4.5 weeks because we're going to have it coincide with summit recognition. So we'll start at April 1st, and they'll have to wake up, I think it's May 3rd is when they have to wake up at their new qual date, so that they wake up June 6th as their paid rank.
This is so great. Okay, guys, any last questions? We have a few minutes left.
This is probably a super easy question, but you mentioned that you do like meetings or something for your challengers. Like, do you do like a weekly call?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you just like, is it like a topic, or you just let them ask questions, or?
So I go, like in the beginning, I've been running quarterly boot camps. So I open a new boot camp every quarter just to kind of weed out some of the, because, the numbers are pretty high, and not that many. They're high of people that are in there. They're not high of interaction. So I try to, weed out some of the people that aren't showing up. So I'll start that. And then, so at the beginning of every group, I'll do, the standard stuff, like teaching stuff about my nutrition, my feelings on the scale, my feelings on non-scale victories, personal development, like all these videos that I'll do. So I have those, but then like, as you run out of educational things, then I do it based on what I see people are talking about in the group. So hands down, without fail, twice a month, probably those calls are based on getting their mind right around lack of results or frustration or the scale not moving or some other dumbass thing that I can't stand, the pressure we put on ourselves to see those results. So I really go hard on their mindset. And then sometimes I'll ask them, what questions do you have? I'll be like, boot camp call today. What questions do you have? And go based on that. I have nothing, sometimes I also share things that I get from my personal development. But if I have nothing and they are not asking me for anything, then I'll do roundtable and I'll ask them to share their non-scale victory. Like, what's your non-scale victory? And I'll just call on people. So that's kind of what I do, how I run those.
So if you were to go back to the you from 4 years ago, like you just hit elite for the first time, you could go talk to that girl. What's like the 1 or 2 things you would like tell her to focus on, or like things you wish you had known?
I mean, I guess it's stuff that I did tell myself, huh? Like I would say, keep going. When I hit elite for the first, what did I do? That was 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm a 3-time elite. Did you say 3 times, Sydney, or 4? 3? I'm a 4-time elite. So it wasn't until this time that I felt like I finally had a team. So I was still exhausted at 3-time elite. I was still exhausted, feeling like, I was making good money. I mean, we made multiple 6 figures last year, but I still felt like it was just me, And so I just would say, keep going, and keep going and keep growing to myself, which I think that I must have said those things. And I had to have that conversation of like, you can't give up. You got to keep doing it. I feel like I've always been coachable, but I think the other thing that's really helped me in the last year was you don't stop looking up for all the leadership, because sometimes the leadership lessons are down. And I learned so much from my team last year, like so much from Emily and her coach Heather and my elite coach Autumn, and even like not even elite coaches, just like diamond coach, like just people just learning, like head on a swivel and not just upwards, not at the people that have been successful before you, but like people that are coming in after you, So I think all my stuff is really big picture kind of stuff, because I think for me, my mind, I mean, to have lived in a brain that said, you don't deserve to be on this planet and you should kill yourself. Obviously it takes a lot of mental, growth to get to the point where you don't feel like that anymore, and to feel like that you matter and you have a voice. So people always want to know my secrets. And I'm like, there is no secret. I feel like coaches overcomplicate things. I feel like, people are always looking for like, what's that one thing you do? It's like nothing. I do all the things that you know to do. I do the vital behaviors. I show up every day. I post on social media. I run challenge groups. Like that is what it is. You can get better at things, but I really feel like my superpower is my brain. Like that when I see a limiting belief, I like really work hard on challenging it. And so I don't know what stories it is that you're telling yourselves right now, but we've all got ceilings that we're living under that we've created for ourselves. And I think it's just, instead of letting that keep you small, you just look it in the face and it's like, am I a bad leader? Am I like fat and disgusting? Am I like those things that we tell ourselves, right? Like, am I really boring? Am I going to be offensive? Like, am I worthless? Am I whatever? Like, could I be a top 10 coach? I could never be a top 10 coach. Girls, I never, ever even thought, like in my wildest dreams, not even in like it was not anywhere in here that I would be a top coach. And it actually was never even the goal. Like my goal wasn't really top coach until last year. I was like, well, maybe I should push. But like, it was never really even the goal, right? That was never what I put on my dream board. It was always top 10 coach. Just because that sounded sexy, but then I didn't put in the work to be a top 10 coach. I remember Bonnie Engel watching a call from her, and she joined after me, and she had so much more success before me. And I was like, what the hell, So I watched a call of hers, and she was like, yeah, I'm working 80 hours a week. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm not. So I could have Bonnie's success if I was willing to put in the work. And once I decided I was willing to put in the work, then that's when I found the success. So I feel like it's really about your mindset, and then actually, working your ass off on yourself and on your business, obviously, to make those things happen. So I don't know if I have like a succinct thing. I think it's just keep going, keep growing is what I would tell myself over. And I'll tell myself that now over and over and over and over again,
Seriously, I have the chills. That was so freaking good. And what a great way to end the call too. Last question, because we have one more. What is your favorite PD book for your challengers?
I always tell them You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I think that I call that one my Bible. I've read it 4 times or something like that, and it's amazing. And my challengers are my kind of tribe, right? So they like the swear words. They like the no nonsense way that she delivers. If you're don't have my intense aggressive energy, then I think a great book is the Rachel Hollis Girl Wash Your Face. That's another book that I love for them to read. I also have recommended, I don't love this book, but it's very insightful, The Power of Habit, just because I think so, especially with our challengers, they're trying to, break habits and make new ones. So that's a good book, but those are the ones that I recommend.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Gal, seriously, thank you so much, Ashlie. We're out of time. I took tons of notes. I know everyone else did. We really, really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to spend with us. Everyone else, I'll see you next Tuesday, and I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.